Hey guys, welcome back to my watercolor channel, and today we paint a very easy scenery which is suitable for every level of watercolor artist. I started with a small sketch, so I draw two trees at the foreground, at the front, and they have different size or different thickness, as a matter of fact, because it is nice to break a little bit the pattern so that not everything looks the same. And then at the back, a little bit further away, I add some houses, so a small neighborhood, and I get this a little bit ready as well. Here I add like different sizes of houses because it looks much better. And then next to the trees I thought I add a patch of grass coming through, but in many countries already the spring is appearing, so I thought I add some yellow flowers. For example, daffodils might come through, although there's still snow around. And what I do is then to wet the upper half of the paper, so where is the sky and further away standing trees, and I add a very light layer of ultramarine blue, and my painting is a little bit tilted as well. Then I add a stronger layer of indigo blue to the ultramarine blue mixture, and I add with a middle-sized brush the paint under the painting where it is still quite wet. And then take off carefully the excess paint away, and then add a little bit more of the paint, and it's kind of like mixing a little bit with the sky together, which is quite intended, so it really looks like really like further away standing trees. And then I try not to overpaint the houses. Also, good tip is here to add trees basically at the top above the roofs, so you don't need to add lines that there's a roof and the roof remains a little bit bluish there. For the snow, for the ground, I add some turquoise blue, and I have not wetted basically this area, so it's just adding here a little bit, a very light layer of turquoise blue, and then occasionally a little bit of water, so it's flowing downwards, and I get a really nice effect there. And then I prepare I add some of the deep yellow to my daffodils, so it's not to be very precise, it's still really nice. Not abstract painting as such, but not detail by detail. And then I have a really nice green out of the same yellow and ultramarine blue. And then I add a darker layer of the green, so just adding a little bit more of the ultramarine blue to the greenish color, and then adding it underneath the trees and underneath the flowers, and it's going like descending on a hill, so it's going a little bit downwards, and using light brush strokes for this area. And here as well, adding a bit of turquoise blue and more water. But I start to add a bit dark colors as well. So having some turquoise blue and as well as some lemon yellow mixed together but very strong in pigments, and adding it underneath the flowers so that the yellows shines through up much better, as well as emphasizing the edges of the visible patches through this snow. And a bit more, like some light brush strokes, a little bit of a grass there, and then I mix an orange of the deep yellow and cadmium red, but I didn't want it too bright. And then adding it carefully there, as well as adding a bit of darker colors of a green and then a little bit of an indigo blue to match it, to make it much darker, as well as here. And then I mix a light brown out of rose, yellow ochre, and some cadmium red and ultramarine blue. So here it's a little bit darker, but then I add a lighter layer for the houses, and then adding it carefully there, but leaving some areas free which are not painted. And then adding a much darker brown as well, which I did out of just by adding some ultramarine blue and then painting the roofs with turquoise blue. I wanted to emphasize the areas as well, so I added a little bit of more water and then some ultramarine blue there as well. And I continue to mix colors out of ultramarine blue and some indigo blue, because I wanted to add it to the birches. So now I'm adding it to the structure, some like mixture of grayish colors of Payne's gray and then indigo blue on blue colors. First it's quite a light layer, and then just working myself through by adding a much darker layer there. But if you feel like, oh, it became a bit too strong, and you can just take it off while this layer is still wet with a brush. And then I continue on my second tree as well. I proceed the same way, just adding Payne's grey and some indigo blue. Then I use a very thin brush for creating the branches. So a very, very dark layer, not containing too much of water. And it's a very dark layer of Payne's grey and indigo blue. And remember to create the branches with a swift motion, so it looks quite nice here and it adds more movement to the branches. Use your pinky finger as to stable your hand. And now the layer has partly dried on the tree, so I add more of the dark color, which I used as well for the branches, but here I try not to add too much of it. And then at the back I thought I wanted to have a little bit more darker layer and some harder edges, a light layer of bushes there, and then just adding really small details to the flower, to the grass. So just now basically the painting is ready, but just emphasizing some different areas such as underneath the flowers. a little bit of the grass patches. But it's not much to do, and then emphasizing the structure or the shape of the house as well. Now you can recognize the different sizes of the house and underneath the roof. And then here adding some lines. And some more grass at the front. It's just looking where to add, but not to overdo the painting, not to add too much. And we are basically done. So it was really fast. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe. Bye.